Let's talk about Ted Cruz's Cancun travesty. Because being there for your constituents in their hour of need, like justice, matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So tonight's video is coming to you from my home. We have quite a bit of snow and ice here in Northern Virginia, just outside of DC. So I thought the wiser course was to just go ahead and stay here rather than go to the studio and record tonight's video from home. Tonight's video, I can't help but talk about Ted Cruz. So Ted Cruz, as you've probably heard, in the midst of a Texas state emergency, some dramatic, severe cold weather that has resulted in people losing power, losing heat, losing water. In some instances, the people of Texas are literally freezing to death. The circumstances are dire. So Ted Cruz thought the time was right to jet off to Cancun. Here is the headline in the Washington Post about that. Senator Ted Cruz faces storm of controversy for flying to Cancun as Texas grapples with power outages caused by severe weather. And here is part of how that article reads. In an exchange with reporters outside his home in Houston on Thursday night, Cruz said he decided to return from Cancun after flying there Wednesday because he, quote, didn't want all the screaming and yelling about this trip to distract even one moment from the real issues that I think real Texans care about, close quote. You know, the real issues like, what can my elected representative do to help me, to bring some relief to these dire circumstances I'm experiencing? That's the real issue. You know, Ted Cruz didn't want to listen to all the yelling and screaming about his Cancun trip. But it gets worse. Because Ted Cruz also thought it was a wise idea to use Houston Police Department resources to, kind of help get him safely from here to there. Here is part of how CNN reported that out. Cruz's office also requested that Houston Police Department assist the senator during his departure from Bush Intercontinental Airport on Wednesday, Houston Police Chief Art Acevedo told CNN. So, I guess you want to use Houston police resources to, take you out to get some sunscreen, maybe some nice Hawaiian shirts. But it gets worse. You'll probably recall that Ted Cruz is the person who sucked up to Donald Trump, right? Was there for every beck and call of Donald Trump after Donald Trump called his wife Heidi, quote, ugly, close quote, and after Donald Trump accused Ted Cruz's father of being involved in the assassination of JFK. Ted Cruz was still all in with Donald Trump after that. And here's what Ted Cruz did to justify his Cancun trip. You ready for this? He said, quote, it was obviously a mistake, Cruz said of his decision to go on the trip. Quote, in hindsight, I wouldn't have done it. I was trying to be a dad, close quote. So, yeah, Ted Cruz kind of threw his daughter under the bus, using her as an excuse for why he went to Cancun. I was just trying to be Dad, my daughter wanted to go to Cancun, so I left all my constituents in the freezing cold without any help, without any representation. You know, if anybody can explain to me how it is the people of Texas vote somebody like Ted Cruz into office to be their representative, the kind of man who would flee his state during the most dire circumstances and then try to blame his daughter. Folks, I had to touch on the Ted Cruz thing because it just shows how much work we have to do to dislodge the Ted Cruzes of the world. And we haven't even touched on his behavior during the insurrection. But tomorrow morning, I promise you, I'll be back to legal analysis, because tomorrow morning, I want to tackle what's going on with Governor Andrew Cuomo of New York and the reporting today that federal prosecutors in New York, specifically the Eastern District of New York U.S. Attorney's Office located in Brooklyn, is opening up an investigation into the way Governor Cuomo handled the COVID pandemic crisis, and specifically the deaths that were occurring in nursing homes. And I really want to try to unravel it and talk about what we might be looking at there. And I want to also talk about and compare that to another New York investigation. And that is the investigation of Donald Trump for campaign finance violations as part of a conspiracy with Michael Cohen, and why we are approaching the 5-year mark and running the risk of the statute of limitations running out on that case. A lot to talk about in tomorrow morning's legal analysis video. And I promise not to circle back to Ted Cruz, because, you know, he is what he is. Folks, please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.